What's going on, guys? I'm going to talk about existentialism to y'all guys. The philosophy. I want to do this, and I pushed this up to around two something instead of three. This may not be a very long live stream, so shouts out to this person right here. It's a subscriber. Salute. Let me get set up. Let me look at my live chat room. Got it in the tab. Let me see. Saying entertainment. No. How to do activism. It's not for kids, set by me. Yeah, we're in the building. We're in the building. So we got a screen share. We're going to put this right together. Now, let me big up the screen so y'all can see it. Existentialism. Okay, existentialism is a philosophy that emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice. It is this view that humans define their own meaning in life, try to make rational decisions despite existing an irrational universe. It focuses on the questions of a human existence and the feeling that there is no purpose or explanation at the core of existence. It holds that as there is no God or any other transcendent force, the only way to encounter this nothingness and hence defining meaning in life is by embracing existence. Okay. Yeah. Meaning in life is by embracing existence. Okay. Thus, existentialism believes that individuals are entirely free and must take responsibility for themselves, although with this responsibility comes anguish and a profound anguish or dread. It is therefore emphasized acting freedom in decisions as fundamental and holds the only way to rise above the essential absurd conditions of humanity, which is characterized by suffering and inevitable death, is by exercise our personal freedom and choice and complete rejection of determinism. Often existentialism as a movement is used to describe those who refuse to belong to any school of thought, repudiating of the adequacies of any beliefs, any body of beliefs or systems claiming to be superficial, academic, and remote from life, although it has much in common with nihilism. I talk about that on the channel too. Nihilism, existentialism is more reaction against the traditional philosophies such as rationalism, empiricism, and positivism that seek to discover an ultimate order and universal meaning in a metaphysical principles or in a structure of the observed world. It asserts that people are actually make decisions based on what has meaning to them rather than what it is rational. Now, you do have, okay, existentialism originated with the 19th century philosophers known as Søren Kierkegaard and Frederick, the Nietzsche. Yeah, he's a nihilist too, although neither used the term in their work. In the 1940s and 50s, French existentialists such as Jean-Paul Sartre and Paul Camus in 1913 and 1960, and Simon de Beauvoir, 1908 and 1986, wrote scholarly and fictional works and that popularized existential themes such as dread, boredom, alienation, absurd, freedom, commitment, and nothingness. Main beliefs, unlike Rene Descartes, who believed in the premises of consciousness, existentialists assert that human being is thrown into a concrete invaded universe that cannot be thought away. Therefore, existence, being in the world, precedes consciousness, and it's the ultimate reality. Existence then is prior to prior to essence, and essence is the meaning that may be ascribed to life. Contrary to traditions and philosophical views dating back to the ancient Greeks, as Satri put it, at first man is nothing. Only after will he be something, and he himself will have made what he will be. Kierkegaard saw rationality as a mechanism humans use to counter their existential anxiety, their fear of being in the world. Sartre saw rational as a form of bad faith and an attempt by the self to impose structure on a fundamental, irrational and random world of phenomenon. The other, this is bad faith, hinders us from finding the meaning in freedom, confines us within everyday experience. Kierkegaard also stresses that individuals must choose their way without the aid of universal objective standards. Friedrich Nietzsche further contended that the individuals must decide which situations are to count it as moral situations. Thus, more existentialists believe that the personal experience acting on one's own convictions are essential in arriving at the truth, that the understanding of the situation by someone involved in the situation is superior to that of the detached, objective observer, similar to the concept of subjectivism. Okay. Subjectivism. Okay, we're gonna look at that. It's perception and reality, illusions and all that. Okay, sopulism, relativism. Yeah, we'll get in those subjects in the near future. According to Camus, when individuals longing for order order collides with real world's lack of order. Excuse me. A result of absurdity. Human beings are therefore subject in an indifferent, ambiguous, and absurd universe, in which meaning is not provided by the natural order, but rather can be created, however, provisionally and unstable by human actions and interpretations. Existentialism can be atheistic, theological, or theistic, or agnostic. Some existentialists, like Nietzsche, proclaim that God is dead and that the concept of God is obsolete. Others, like Kierkegaard, were intensely religious, even if they did not feel able to justify it. The important factor for existentialists is freedom of choice and to believe or not to believe. And that's what it is. And we're going to get into the history of existentialism. Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche is a nihilist. He's a nihilist philosopher, and then he's an existentialist as well. I'll show you the pictures in a minute. And we're going to get into it. We're going to see what my chat room is like. Oh, none. Okay. Great. I know this ain't going to be a long stream because I might have to extend whatever. Existentialism. Okay. History of existentialism. Existentialist type things appear in early Buddhist and Christian writings, including those of St. Augustine and St. Thomas Aquinas. In the 17th century, Blaise Pascal suggested that without a god, life would be meaningless, boring, miserable. Much as later existentialists believe, although unlike them, Pascal saw this as a reason for the existence of God. His near contemporary, John Locke, advocated in the individual anatomy and self-determination, put in the positive pursuit of Unlike Pascal and the Reason for God and his near contemporary John Locke, and advocate individual anatomy and self-determination, but this is a positive pursuit of liberalism and individualism rather than in the response to existentialist experience. Yeah, okay. Existentialism Existentialism in the current recognizable form was inspired by the 19th century Danish philosopher Soren uh, Kierkegaard, the German philosophers Friedrich Nietzsche and Martin Heidegger, and Karl Jaspers. Yeah, Friedrich was a nihilist philosopher as well and an existentialist. And Edmund Husserl and writers like Russian Fyodor Dostoevsky and Czech Franz Kafka. And it can be argued that George Willingham and Arthur Schopenhauer were also important influence on the development of existentialism because of the philosophies of Kierkegaard and Nietzsche were written in a response or the opposition to them. Kierkegaard and Nietzsche, like Pascal before them, were interested in people's concealment of the meaninglessness of life, their use of diversions to escape from boredom. However, unlike Pascal, they considered the role of making free choice on fundamental values and beliefs to be essential in the attempt to change the nature and identity of a chooser. In Kierkegaard's case, this results in the knife of faith who puts complete faith in himself and God, as described in his 1843 work Fear and Trembling. Nietzsche's case, the much meaning malign Ubermensch or Superman attends superior and transcendi without reporting to the other worldliness of Christianity in his books. Thus spake the Zarathustra in 1885 and Beyond the Good and Evil. Martin Heidegger was an important early philosopher in the movement, particularly his influence 1927 work being in time, although he himself vehemently denied being an existentialist in the Sartrean sense. His discussion of ontology is rooted in the analysis of the mode of existence of individual human beings and his analysis of authenticity. He said authenticity and anxiety in modern culture and making him very important. And existentialist in this usual modern usage. Existentialism came of an age in the mid 20th century, largely through the scholarly and fictional works of French existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, and Simon de Beauvoir in 1908 and 1986. Maurice Merleau-Ponty is another influential and point overlooked French existentialist of the period. Sartre is perhaps the most well-known as well, one of the few to have actually accepted being called an existentialist. Being in nothingness is his most important work, and his novels, plays, and including the Nausea, No Exit, helped to popularize the movement. And the myth of Sisyphus, Albert Camus used the analogy of Greek mythology and Sisyphus, who is condemned for eternity to roll a rock up, and he'll only have to roll to the bottom again each time to amplify the pointless of existence, but shows that the Sisyphus ultimately finds meaning and purpose. Purpose in his task, simply continually applying himself to it. Simone de Beauvoir is an important existentialist who spent much time of her life alongside Sartre, wrote about feminism and existentialist ethics in her works, including The Second Sex, the ethics of ambiguity. Although Sartre is considered the preeminent existentialist, and by many being an important innovator of the philosophy in his own right, others has much less impressed by his contributions. Heidegger himself thought that Sartre had merely taken his own work and regressed in it back to the subject-object oriented philosophies of Descartes and Husserl, which is exactly what Heidegger had been trying to free philosophy from. Some see Maurice Merleau-Ponty as the better existentialist philosopher, particularly for his incorporation of the body as our way of being in the world, for his more complete analyst perception, two areas in which Heidegger's work is often seen deficient. Gonna get into criticisms and what's going on, New? Salute. Yeah. So the criticisms, Herbert Marcuse has criticized existentialism, especially Sartre being a nothingness for projecting some features of living in modern oppressive society. Features such as anxiety, meaninglessness onto the nature of existence itself. Roger Serton is now currently living, has claimed that both Heidegger's and concept of an inauthenticity and Sartre's concept of bad faith are both self-inconsistent in that they deny any universal moral creed, yet they speak of these concepts as if everyone is bound to abide by them. Logical positives such as A.J. Averroes, Rudolf Carnap claim that existentialists frequently become confused over the verb to be, which is the meaning it is used without predicate, without predicate, by the word nothing, which is a negotiation of an existence and therefore cannot be assumed to refer to something. Marxists, especially in post-war France, found existentialism to run counter to their emphasis of the solidarity of the human beings that their theory of the economic determinism. They further argue that existentialism emphasizes on individual choice leads to contemplation rather than action, and that only a bourgeoisie has the luxury to make themselves what they are through their choices. So they consider existentialism to be the bourgeois philosophy. Christian critics complain that existentialism portrays humanity in the worst possible light, overlooking the dignity and grace that comes from being made in the image of God. Although, according to Christian critics, existentialists are unable to account for the moral dimension of human life, have no basis for an ethical theory. If they deny humans are bound by commands of God, then on the other hand, some commentators have obligated to Kierkegaard's continue espousal of Christianity despite his inability to effectively justify it. In more general terms, the common use of pseudonym characters as existentialist right can make it seem like the opposite of only insights and confuse the philosopher with literature. Exactly. That's existentialism. That's the introduction. Yeah. We're just gonna go here for a minute. And that's the thing. And that's just our thing. And where's the part? Here we go. Here's the philosophers I'm talking about. This dude right here. That's the famous one. He's a nihilist, by the way, y'all. I'm just going to show you the philosophers that they got. This is the dude I just read about. It's Gabriel Marcel, Carl Jaspers. Yeah, I just read about this female right here, Simon de Beauvoir, Soren Kierkegaard, and Albert Camus. All these dudes. One female, kind of like nihilists. Well, actually, they got two females that are existentialists. Well, actually, they got three or four on my fault. So, yeah. So we're going to get out of that. And let's talk about the two sides of pragmatism and things like that nature, right? We're going to go share screen. I know it's 21 minutes. I got time. I know people like to do that. Okay, let's talk about this. Now, on the left is pragmatism. On the right is existentialism. So we're going to talk about existentialism today. They're both English words. Philosophy, not countable, 20th century philosophical movement emphasized the uniqueness of each human existence in freely making its self-defined choices. The heyday, if your parents were alive back then, heyday of existentialist source in the mid 20th century. The philosophical views of a particular thinker associated with an existentialist movement. Autonomous nominalism and his related terms exist, existence, existentialists. That's what they use. Pragmatism. The pursuit of the pursuit of practicality or over aesthetic qualities, a concentration on the facts rather than emotions or ideals. Facts. You see that a lot in the spaces. Politics. The theory and political problems should be met with political solutions rather than ideological ones. Philosophy, the idea that beliefs are identified with the actions of the believer. Believer and true belief must trust that those actions secure believers' goal. The doctrine, the idea must be looked at in terms of particularly practical basic consequences. 1902, William James, Variations of Religions, Experiences and Follows Society in 2008. And I would say, our conception of these practical consequences for us to hold of our conception of the object. But this principle of poetry and principles of pragmatism. Idealism is the atoms and contemplation. Pragmatist, pragmatically and pragmatic. Yep. That's the two sides of the same beast. Okay, the big difference. Oh my God. The pragmatic truth of existentialism. Is it existentialism? Yeah, existentialism. Yeah. The past several months have a several strange resurgence of interest in the quarter. Oh shit. Okay, you can't be doing that. Questions of the truth, culture views, lighting, us Twitter. Oh, let me get this down because I don't know how I'm gonna. Because I don't want to mess up nothing. I want to knock out of my chair. Uh, we're gonna do this. And the culture war is lighting up the Twitter feeds. Everyone have found unlikely background over abstract theories and of the truth, usually debated in the Austrian journals and academic philosophies. With the issue so inauspicious Lucius raised and the publicized, see David Tyler work to the pragmatic theory of the truth. As more one of those people's yeah, concerning the truth. Yeah. Heidegger, yeah. Oh. It's the influence of William James and Jean-Paul Sartre's existentialism is mostly unknown, though the theory of truth outlined by James provides Sartre with an ally against Martin Heidegger, who was shadowing looms a large existential philosophy in 1948. In a text published presumptuously in the truth and as existence, Sartre strikes out from the critical engagement with Heidegger and to prove his own theory, and it points directly from the truth to the ethics and something else. Immediately distinguished his approach from fundamental ontology. Yeah. Oh, that's a long read. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in the live chat. Y'all can read it for yourself. But yeah, man. So I know y'all got your little thing. Uh yeah. Let me, let me clear my head for a minute. Y'all want to read more about it? Uh, yeah, man. Oh, oh, shit. Existentialism, a pragmatic worldview. Most people have to have existential crisis. Crisis. What we do really mean. Existentialists hold that there's no inherent meaning in the world. This is a stark contrast to existentialist viewpoint, which holds that each of us is born with a certain essence or telos, that the life we live is one in which we strive to be the bottom line of our determined essence. Wow, it's amazing kind of the rest of the thing that the world is so inherently meaning. It's extremely freeing. Existentialists hold that we are so not born with any inherent sentence. So we all have to determine what is the meaning of freedom. Sounds nice, but it's also top responsibility. Exactly. So I'm giving y'all the little clue and hint. Head is draining. Ugh. But I'll be good. Yeah, I might have to cut this short. I might have to do a part two, but yeah, and pragmatic and all this stuff. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. But I might do a part two to this. But yeah, I said it and put the links in the chat. I think this ain't gonna be an open panel or whatever. But yeah, this proves the argument. But yeah, it's just like it is. Pragmatic is something. I might do one tonight. I don't know what I'm gonna name it. I want to talk about pragmatism. And I'll bring up existentialism, the difference between the two. Um, so yeah, this is probably gonna be a short stream because I ain't gonna go for an hour or whatever. But yeah, existentialism. Yeah, I might hit the hour mark. Yeah, or do 50 minutes. I'll go 50 minutes. Hold on, and I'm gonna explain something. Yeah, I'll talk about pragmatism tonight. I ain't gonna have a long hour, 4 hour, because this is the afternoon. It's like 2 something, 3 something. I'll come back later. You know what I mean? I don't know what people is waiting on, but if they want me to hit the link, that's cool. But this ain't no open panel. But just like I read before, yeah, it's basic philosophy. So put it up here. I didn't even end up. So let's look at something real quick. It says empiricist authority or sense experience. Blake say Borwell. It's talking about rationalism. It's all rooted in philosophy. Epicureanism. I didn't say imp. I said epicureanism. Not imp. Epicureanism. Yeah, Epicurus. I'll do that, a part two of that. But this is Epicurus and all that, and rationalism. Yeah. They all under the existentialism. Yeah. I showed you a little bit of everything, but and I'm just saying, man, yeah, we'll get this out the way. But yeah, and that's just the thing. I'm gonna stop the full screen share. But yeah, I just put those links in the chat so y'all can just get a good view of what's going on and things like that. Yeah, this is one of those things I could just say, hey, we could do this and it's just be real around it and whatever. So you know what I mean? Yeah, it's gonna be a short show. I don't have to do 40 minutes, but yeah, I just want to throw something up. Just a 30-minute stream, and it's not too hasty, but I will do uh, another stream. I'm gonna set this up because I don't know when I'm gonna just get my mind right. And I'm gonna do another one. It's gonna be in here. StreamYard. Yeah. Oh, no L. Okay. Schedule. Make it. Let me hit this. It's not gonna be too long. Yeah. See what I got here. Yeah, this is all I want to talk about. But yeah, this is one of those things I get to in these philosophy modes, and I'm just gonna I'm gonna stop the screen share. But yeah, existentialism is basically like exists. It's similar to nihilism, individual existence, freedom of choice, and all that. But I'll go in on it, um, the two sides, and I'll go in on pragmatism. We'll do some research after I take a long break. But yeah, I'll do another stream after this. This is just a short stream that I wanted to do. So with that, I want to say peace.